And in my beef pho, I always put fried garlic. So some people said, oh no, in pho, there's no fried garlic. Put whatever you like. So you can put whatever you like. So I like fried garlic in my beef pho. Then I just put some. Hi guys, in today's video I'm going to show you how I make beef pho. There are many ways that you can make beef pho, but my style I'll show you. Let's find out all together on how I make it. First, I like to pre-boil the beef back ribs about 10 minutes. Add a little bit of salt in there to get rid of all the gunk or the black blood that coming out from the bones. And after that, you can rinse well and use it to make a good beef pho broth. In here, bring 6 liters of water to boil. And using the beef back ribs that you pre-boil about 10 minutes, add them all in. This one is 2 kilograms. And in here is 6 liters of water. I'm going to add more water later, but for now I'm going to add just 6 liters. I want to see if the pot not going to be overflow, but I think I can add more. But I will add some boiling water on top after that. If you don't want to use beef back ribs, you can also use oxtail. You also can use neck bones or any type of other bone, or especially the bone that has the bone marrow. That one also really good as well. Into the broth, you need 2 tablespoons of salt. I will add some more water because the pot here is good enough. Here is big enough for me to add 8 liters of water. And for the sugar, I use brown sugar or yellow sugar. Add 2 tablespoons as well. 1 tablespoon of chicken powder. And 3 tablespoons of fish sauce. Okay, let that boil. And I almost forgot, if you like beef tendons, add it now. And right now, once it starts to boil, there will be some foam. And just leave it about maybe 15 more minutes. And after that, you can scoop it out when you add all the other ingredients. So once you add in the beef bone, add all the ingredients, add all the seasoning, you can let it boil. Leave it there for now. And in the meantime, we can prep all these ingredients to add to the broth to make the broth taste really good, especially if you can slow cook it. The beef pho broth, it's going to taste really good. The secret is in the time, like the slow cook. The longer you can cook the beef pho broth, tastier the broth can become. So the 4 ingredients that you also need, you need some ginger. This one you can leave the skin on, but make sure that you clean it really good. Cut it in half like this, or cut it into 4 pieces. For the garlic, I'm just gonna cut it in half as well. Before I use all these ingredients to put into the broth to make the broth taste good, I want to roast it first, maybe about 10 minutes. Okay, put it like that. The garlic, the ginger. The ginger you can maybe leave it out. I'm just gonna put 3 pieces, about 100 grams. The ingredient that you cannot miss, that you need to have it in the broth, is onion, ginger. Carrot is optional because some people use a different type of vegetable like daikon, but I always use carrot, and sometimes I use daikon. That is fine because any type of other vegetable like this, like roots, it will add good flavor to the broth, especially if you can cook it for a long time with all that bones, all that meat. It will just make the broth taste really good. Now, I also will roast garlic as well. I'm gonna roast it 10 minutes in the air fryer. And you can put heat. I put 190 Celsius and put it for 10 minutes. And just leave that alone. And next, I'll show you all the ingredients, the spice that you need for the pho as well, because without that, it's not pho. So we need the spice. The pho spice, I'm gonna combine everything my own, but you also can buy the pre-packaged one. So this one is black pepper. Put 1 teaspoon, I guess. And cinnamon sticks, you need that. Turn on the heat. 3 cinnamon sticks. Star anise, maybe this much, about 3 to 4 star anise. You also need coriander seed, and you also need cloves. I don't have any, so I'm going to use whatever I have. This much. You want to roast this until it has fragrance, and then after that you can add it to the broth. Okay, after you roast it about 5 minutes, after that, here, It's hot, be careful, add them in here. You need a bag like this. You do not want to put this whole thing into the broth. You want to make sure that it's in the bag. Okay, now that we got this, tie it up. Okay, we got the first spice, and what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna put all these roasted vegetables into a big bag like this. So I roasted for 10 minutes after that. So here is one garlic roasted in here, one large onion into the bag as well. There's some ginger, roasted ginger, and roasted carrot. Put everything in here because this way will make the broth really nice. It doesn't have any, especially from the carrot, it doesn't have like the breaking part of the carrot that fall into the broth, and also the spice. Put them all in here because once you boil them, after you finish boiling them, maybe a few hours, you can take this bag out and just throw it away. But obviously I always keep this bag because this bag, don't throw this bag away. This bag I bought them, so then I reuse them. I reuse the bag. So tie them all up like that. So here is the broth, and you just put them all in here. And for water, I will add 2 more liters of water. My pot is big enough, so I'm gonna add 2 more liters of water. This one is boiling water, so it will speed up the process to make the broth cook even faster. Now you can let it cook on high heat about half an hour. I set the timer half an hour, and after half hour, I'm gonna lower the heat to low heat, and you can let it cook like 3 to 4 hours. But you also can come back to check the beef tendons or the beef ribs to make sure that it's not too soft or like it's falling apart, especially the ribs. But for now, everything looks good, and let it boil half an hour on high heat. And you can take that time to prep all the other ingredients, like if you need to soak the rice noodle, if you need to prep the topping, clean the bean sprouts. So this one is a waiting game. You want to wait until this broth is ready, but come back to check after half hour, and then lower the heat to low heat and let it cook about 3 to 4 hours. And if you can have it the next day, this pho broth is going to taste really good. Look at the color. As soon as you add all the pho spice in here, the color, it will come out, and the color will look like darker after this. Just wait. While we let that boil for half an hour on high heat, now we can prep all the other ingredients. You need the topping like mint, cilantro, green onion, or sawtooth mint, this one. The reason I say sawtooth mint because in my language we call it chi ana. Chi ana. Ana means saw, and chi means mint. So then you see that, the sawtooth. So we call sawtooth mint. If you use dry noodle, you need to soak it in warm water 10 minutes to let it soften, to hydrate it. Otherwise, when you use it to make the rice noodle, it's gonna take a long time to cook. So the package is this kind, but you can use any kind, but this one is nicer and the strand is smaller. You also can use rice noodle, the fresh one, and this one is my first go option. I like to use this one because it's so fast. You don't need to soak them, and I always buy in big bulk because my family, they eat so fast, they eat so much. Huge family. This is cilantro. For topping, you need cilantro. I have some mince here. And green onion. In order to make a really good pho broth, you need to boil it or you need to cook it for a long time. If you can cook it and leave it overnight, the next day, that's when all the flavor come out. But if you eat it on the same day, it tastes good too, especially for the people who not cooking. I think it tastes better, but then if I eat it on the same day, it doesn't taste as good, but the next day, oh my God, so good. And I always like to prep everything while I'm waiting for the broth to be ready. You need to prep everything, especially if you can make it, the broth, overnight, and the next day, like you prep everything, like you prep your mince, you prep your bean sprout, wash everything, cut up all your meatballs. So I have some meatball here. Cut up all your meatballs. Normally I make them, but I don't have a lot of time now. So I bought 2 packages, and prep all your meat, like your thin sliced beef, prep everything. So then when it's time to eat, especially for the people who cook it, it tastes a lot better. You can rest. prep all your noodle. If you're using dry noodles, soak them 10 minutes to hydrate it, or you can use fresh noodle, and that will speed up the process. You don't have to stress out too much about soaking them and all that stuff. Okay, so add them all in here. Cilantro on this side. So in pho, you also need some onion, thin slice. I like to use a peeler, and it's so easy, and it can thin slice really thin using the peeler. You also can use red onion as well, but I have normal onion. I'm gonna use this and shred a lot or thin slice a lot of it, so then when it's time to eat, this can last you maybe like a whole day. Because when you have pho, you're not going to just have one bowl. You're going to have multiple bowls throughout the whole day. Like I said, prep everything is the best. You prep everything overnight, and the next day, especially if you can prep it on Friday and the next day, like weekend, you don't need to cook ever. Just eat pho like the whole day and the next day, and then add a couple more dishes or order something, and you always come back to eating pho in between. Oh, I'm crying. Prep all your lime as well. So everything prep and put them into the refrigerator. So here, after you let it boil for half an hour on high heat, I'm gonna lower the heat to low heat on heat 3. I'm gonna let this cook 3 to 4 more hours. I'm just gonna give this a taste. Oh yeah, it's really good flavor already. But you're going to wait, let it cook about 2 to 3 more hours, come back to check it. And in between maybe about 2 hours, come back to check it to make sure that the beef tendon is not too soft. And you can add more water then if it's lessened. Because right now I can see that the water is lessened. I add more water because there's a lot of bones in here. There's a lot of beef ribs that you can add more water to make more broth out of this much of 2 kilograms of beef ribs. For now, I'm gonna put timer on low heat 2 hours. I'll come back, check it. And for the beef balls, you can cut them in half or you can leave them whole. I like to cut them in half so then it look like there's more. For the beef ball, you're not going to put it right away. You're going to put it when the broth almost done. For the dry noodle, after you soak them for 10 minutes, it's softer. You can drain out all the water. And normally, I don't really like to use dry noodle. It doesn't taste as good compared to the fresh rice noodle. But I like to show you on how you can hydrate the rice noodle. So here, after about an hour and a half, cook it on low heat. The tendon is still not ready. And the meat here is still like the meat that is attached to the ribs is still hard. It's still not good. So I'm gonna add more water because right now you can see that there's less water. I'm gonna add 2 more liters of water. And you're gonna bring it to boil and then lower the heat to low heat, heat 3 again, and cook it about maybe another hour to an hour and a half. So here, after I cook it on low heat 2 hours and a half, the tendon is like it's good now, and the same thing with the ribs. So depending on how good your teeth, if you want it more softer, you can make it maybe another half an hour. But for now, I think it's good. For 2 hours and a half cooking on low heat, it's good. So what I'm gonna do next, I'm gonna add the beef balls. So here I have a whole bunch. And for the carrots and onion and stuff, I'm just gonna leave it in here because just in case, let's say that you eat it and maybe you need to add a little bit more water, then you also can do that too. And then if you add more water, you just have to adjust, add a bit more ingredients, but whatever I show you, this is good. Okay, I'm just gonna add the beef balls in and turn it on high heat and just cook it for maybe 15 minutes, and then it's ready to go. Just gonna taste it. It's good. It's good. So for the beef round eye steak, this one doesn't have a lot of fat like in the middle. The reason I'm using this type is because my kid, they like this type of beef. And if you like the one that has a little bit fat like in between the meat, then you may have to buy them, the one that is pre-sliced. Those one they sell at the store, like one package about $20. But this one is mostly meat, and the way that you can slice it so the meat is not chewy, you want to slice against the grain. Just thin slice it. This one is all meat. So after cook it on low heat for close to 3 hours, the beef tendons is ready. But you can adjust the time according to how tender you want your beef or how soft you want your beef tendon to be. So for me, this is good enough. And then the next day, if I want to put it back, like to warm it up, then I'll put it back into the broth here. But for now, I'm going to take it out. If you leave it, it'll become too soft, and then beef tendon will not taste good at all. And for the beef ribs, it's still good. It's still intact. So this one is perfect. Okay, so I got everything ready to go. I have some fresh rice noodle. There's some beef tendon that I take out and cut it into smaller pieces, and thin sliced beef. And some mince. You need some onion and also limes if you like. So next I'm going to show you how you can cook the noodle and how long you can cook it so it doesn't get too soft, and put the beef on top and all the broth and all the good stuff. Let me show you how. So to cook it, you need to boil some water, and this one is fresh rice noodle, and just put a handful like this. And cook it about 15 seconds. Don't cook it too long because it's going to become too overcooked. And after about 15 seconds, drain out all the water. Use a spatula to push all the water out, because you want no water, not too much water in here, because then it will make the broth not too tasty when you put the broth on top. Okay, put that there. And I always like to cook my bean sprouts, so this is optional. Some people put raw bean sprouts on top, but I put cooked bean sprouts. So to cook it, just put a handful again, like that. It doesn't take that long to cook. Just put it in and take it out. And I'll put on the side like this. When you assemble your bowl, you can put all the topping like onion, the beef tendon if you like, the thin sliced beef, and all the mince. And after you put like this, now we can put the hot broth. Okay, so everything is ready to go. Look at that. And now we just put this on top. And the hot broth, you want to make sure that the broth is really hot, and the hot broth will cook the beef, the thin sliced beef. Put a couple of the ribs here. Ooh, looks good. So this is my bowl of beef pho. And in my beef pho, I always put fried garlic. So some people said, oh no, in pho there's no fried garlic. Put whatever you like. So you can put whatever you like. So I like fried garlic in my beef pho. Then I just put some. Then if you want some more mince, put some more mince. Look at that. So this is ready, and for the sauce, I always put sriracha sauce, hoisin sauce, and put some lime in my sauce. This is how I always eat my pho. So the thin sliced beef is already cooked already because of the hot broth. So the way that I eat my pho, I'm like a dipper, like a sauce. I always put the sauce on the noodle, and some people put all the sauce in here. I don't like that. I like to grab my noodle, grab my sauce, put on here, and then I can eat. Beef tendon is my favorite.